the attempt by science to just wipe out religion was a colossal flop. I was just actually going over this. I'm going to give a paper on science and religion in Florida in January, and I'm so working on that. And I was just looking at this really brilliant course given by a UCLA on this very topic. And what's happened is this course is called Science, Magic, and Religion, and science actually made an attempt, a conscious attempt to science to obliterate religion. For example. Here's the starting lineup, for the destroy religion team. Marx was started on the team. What does Marx say? That religion is just a drug that literally makes you insane. That when you do religion, you become irrational, just like as if you were stinking drunk, as if you took some heavy drug, that's what religion does. It actually takes away your ability to be a rational human being. And Thomas Huxley, who was a bestie of Darwin, good friend of Darwin, and he, what did he say? He compared it to just like Hercules. If you know the Greek myth, Hercules was born surrounded by poisonous snakes. He revealed himself as Hercules because as an infant, he smashed all the poisonous snakes and just killed them. So Thomas Huxley said that science is Hercules. He actually said this. I mean, no subtlety. He actually said that science is Hercules. The priests of religion are the poisonous snakes. And now it's the mission of science to smash all these poisonous snakes of religion. But let's not stop there. Let's look at good old Gibbons, who wrote The Decline and Fall of the Roman Empire. The same time, mid-1800s, Gibbons said that the classical world was great because they still kind of had this Renaissance enthusiasm, the rebirth of classical civilization. Man, they had such cool architecture. And, you have to admit, the Romans, they had really great haircuts even. It's called the Caesar cut. And they had these really cool robes. If you look at the women, they were classy. And they had philosophers and they were engineers. And so it's kind of like they were really cool. So why did that great civilization fall? Why did this fantastic European civilization, for all its decadence and sort of, mistakes, why did it fall? What was Gibbons' conclusion? Because it became Christian. Religion destroys great civilizations. So if we want to build a great civilization now, the whole Enlightenment project, the Industrial Revolution, let's go for it, team, team modernity, then, watch out for religion. It already destroyed one great civilization. It'll do it again. Let's go to, Sigmund Freud, who really needed a good psychiatrist. Actually, seriously. When I was at Harvard, I met this very interesting man who was a Jesuit. And he was a professor at Boston College, which is a very good college, very good university. And he taught psychology. What he did was he took all of Freud's criteria for mental illness, psychopathology. He took all of Freud's criteria for mental illness. He applied it to Freud's statements about religion. And he proved that Freud's attitude toward religion was pathological, that he had issues. Serious. But what is Freud's? For Freud, religion is an emotional disorder. It's an emotional disorder because, you had some kind of issue with your father, whatever. And so now you project super father out there in the sky. And so religion's an emotional disorder. And it's like, do you use the term in Australia, dogpile? In America, dogpile means like everyone jumps on someone, everyone's beating and kicking the person. It's like they'll say like dogpile on Fred, and everyone. So it's kind of like dogpile on religion. So you had all the people I just mentioned, and then in 1920, you have the Circle of Vienna, these leading Western philosophers who say that we have to actually consciously search out and destroy metaphysics. Like anything that smacks of soul, God, anything like that, destroy it. We have to establish pure materialism as true human reason. So in every field, psychology, philosophy, history, sociology, everything, it was like, kill religion. And they really believed they could do it. They really thought they were going to do it. Well, what happened is that religion came roaring back. It's like that clown that you punch and it bounces back up. And, I mean, magic. I mean, how many people go to see, like, biology? Here's a very interesting film on biology. And how many people go to see Harry Potter? When's the last time there was a blockbuster movie where it shows you how to use your chemistry set? So magic has come roaring back. And magic has a whole history going back into very ancient times, Egyptians and Persians and Babylonians and so on and so forth. So magic has a huge market share. Religion has a huge market share. And so this whole attempt to destroy religion and magic was a complete failure. Why? Because those things are real. I can prove to you. This is like 2 minutes and I got to run over and, these are not good times for gurus and I got to work 2 jobs. So I'm going to have to go over it. I'll just give you one example. And that is, consider the political system of Australia or America or any, civilized as we see it country, secular democracy. So the system of democracy is based on the assumption that we're all equal. Right? Because we're not equal, why do we all get one vote? So equality is a huge thing. Now consider this. There are 2 ways of getting knowledge, as Aristotle pointed out. Physical and metaphysical. Physical, it's just science. Meta in Greek means beyond, above. So that which is beyond the physical natural world is called metaphysics. Now what's interesting is that Australia, practically like every other Western country and most countries in the world, has chosen to base its social system, political system, and justice system not on the empirical facts. Australia, like every other country, like America, all these countries have rejected massive, almost unlimited empirical evidence, scientific evidence that we're not equal. All that has been put aside, and we base our social, justice, and political system on a metaphysical fact, which is empirical nonsense. Namely, that we're all equal. Equality is a and I believe it's true, but it's a metaphysical fact. It is empirical nonsense. It's empirical gibberish. So, imagine that. The whole social justice political system rejects an unlimited amount of empirical data, rejects it, and bases our whole system on a metaphysical / religious assumption that we're all equal. Thomas Jefferson, who, he had some glitches, but I remember one time John Kennedy, when he was president, he had a dinner for Nobel laureates. And he said that this is the greatest gathering of intelligence at a White House dinner since Thomas Jefferson dined alone. And so, if you read the DOI, Declaration of Independence, I'm getting doing a little American thing. We think there's only America, but you know how we are, so just bear with it. But it's very interesting because Jefferson was highly educated. The people back then were really highly educated. And so his opening statement is actually based on technical Western philosophy. He said, we hold these truths to be self-evident. I've already explained self-evident. Self-evident mean that there's no possible argument you could make against our rights, our equality. Because if it's self-evident, it occupies the most prestigious position in epistemology, or the philosophy of knowledge. And he says, it's self-evident that we are created equal, endowed by our Creator with certain rights. The point here is that there's no possible empirical study you can do of Australians, of Americans, of Germans, of Fijians, of Mexicans. There's no possible study you can do that will show scientifically that we're equal. Therefore, Jefferson realized that if it's true that we're equal, there must be a metaphysical foundation for it, because what's it resting on? People nowadays are not philosophical. It's like, yeah, we're equal, man. Well, that's their philosophy. That's like about as much philosophy as they can do. But if you are actually concerned with being a rational human being, if it's important to you to have good reasons for what you're doing, not be a fanatical, not just be a fanatic, not be just, superstitious or just say things, it's like children do. Like, that's true. Why? Because it is. Why? Because it is. I mean, if you don't just want to be, a child adult, and you want to actually have good reasons for what you claim to be true, there must be some metaphysical basis for our equality, because empirically we're not equal. And Krishna says, by the way, in the Bhagavad Gita, that we're equal. It's a big topic in the Gita that we're equal. He says it all the time, that we're actually all equal. And the reason is because we're equal in the eyes of God. It's just like, parents can have many children, but in the love of the parents, in the heart of the parents, all their children are equal. One child's rich, one child's poor, one's a genius, one is not, but they're all the children. They love all their children. And good parents always tell their children, we love you all equally. Isn't that what every good parent says in every country on earth?